They wore shimmering silver masks to hide who they were. They toured with metal gods like Metallica, and they were set to be the next giants of the genre. They even had a video played on MTV's Headbangers Ball called Lonely. She wakes up through another day. So why did they just vanish? This is a story of how Crimson Glory reached for greatness, disappeared for decades, and are now mounting one of metal's most unexpected comebacks. In the wild landscape of 80s heavy metal, a time of big hair and even bigger choruses, 5 guys from Sarasota, Florida wanted to do something totally different. They wanted to be known not by their faces, but by their mystique. They wanted the music to do all the talking. This is the start of Crimson Glory. Their story really begins in 1979 as a band called Pierced Arrow, which later became Beowulf, before they finally landed on Crimson Glory in 1983. The classic lineup that would carve its name into metal history was the enigmatic singer known only as Midnight, the twin guitar powerhouse of John Drenning and Ben Jackson, Jeff Lords on bass, and Dana Brunell on drums. In an era full of lookalikes, they chose total anonymity, covering their faces with metallic silver masks that made them look like they were from another planet. But the masks were just part of the trick. Musically, they were true pioneers, right alongside bands like Queensryche and Fate's Warning. Crimson Glory was building a new sound from the ground up, American progressive metal. They took the catchy melodies of heavy metal and fused them with complex arrangements and soaring, almost operatic vocals. After 4 years of grinding it out in rehearsals, they dropped their self-titled debut album in 1986. The record was a huge hit, especially in Europe, and earned them a fiercely loyal fan base who called themselves the Crimson Militia. The album was a powerful mission statement, showing off the band's unique formula, heavy guitar harmonies, brilliant drumming, and Midnight's unforgettable voice. A voice that can go from a ghostly whisper to a glass-shattering scream in a heartbeat. The album also featured Queen of the Masquerade. Their sound felt familiar, with hints of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, but was entirely their own. This potent mix landed them opening slots on tours with giants like Celtic Frost and Anthrax, and set the stage for something massive. 2 years later, in 1988, Crimson Glory released their masterpiece. The album was called Transcendence, and it was and still is a landmark of the genre. Released by Road Racer Records in Europe and MCA in the US, Transcendence is widely considered their finest hour and a cornerstone of progressive metal. Transcendence was the moment it all came together. The album was a stunning showcase of their growth and range. Songs like Lady of Winter and the epic title track showed off their progressive side, while Red Sharks was a full-speed power metal attack. Lyrically, they dove into fantasy with Where Dragons Rule and the gothic horror of Edgar Allan Poe's Mask of the Red Death. The whole album was wrapped in a spacious, otherworldly production that gave it a unique vibe, perfectly balancing hard-hitting metal with deep, emotional soul-searching. Of course, the star of the show was Midnight's extraordinary voice. His incredible range and dramatic, expressive delivery took the music to a theatrical level, making him one of the most distinctive vocalists in all of metal. The album's quality didn't go unnoticed. It earned them rave reviews and put them on huge tours, sharing stages with Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, and Queensryche. They were on the covers of music magazines, celebrated as one of the most innovative bands of their time. Transcendence remains a benchmark for power and progressive metal, influencing countless bands for decades. And as one critic noticed, it feels like 1 out of 4 albums I review currently pay direct or indirect homage to their stylistic signature. But for all its critical acclaim and influence, Transcendence never quite broke into the mainstream the way it should have. It remains a beloved gem for die-hard metal fans, a masterpiece that somehow slipped past a wider rock audience. They'd hit their creative peak, but a big question hung in the air: what happens when timing and trends kill your momentum? After the artistic victory of Transcendence, the band took a risk. The answer came in 1991 with their third album, Strange and Beautiful. And it was a record that lived up to its name, but not in the way fans wanted. The band made some big changes. They ditched the iconic masks, moved to a major label, Atlantic Records, and even brought in outside writers. They released a single for The Chant, but it did not get a lot of attention. The most jarring change, their music. The complex progressive metal that defined them was gone, replaced by a more commercial, bluesy hard rock. It sounded like a blues rock album with some hair metal influences, more than the cutting-edge metal they were known for. Here's a clip from the track Star Chamber. The album was a huge gamble and completely backfired. The move alienated a huge chunk of their fan base, who felt betrayed by the sudden shift in direction. Years later, guitarist John Drenning would admit the album was almost a midnight solo project, not a true Crimson Glory record. To make things worse, the music industry was in the middle of a massive earthquake. The raw, stripped-down sound of grunge was exploding out of Seattle, and suddenly the polished, technical style of bands like Crimson Glory felt totally out of sync with the times. The metal scene they had helped create was changing overnight. The commercial failure of Strange and Beautiful and the cracks it caused within the band were too much to handle. Soon after its release, Midnight, the voice of the band, left. Without their iconic singer, and with the momentum dead in the water, Crimson Glory quietly disbanded in 1992. The masters of Transcendence had simply vanished. For 7 long years, the name Crimson Glory was silent. Then in 1999, the band reformed for a comeback. With Midnight not interested in returning, they brought in new singer Wade Black and ex-Sabotage drummer Steve Washoles to record their 4th album, Astronomica. Let me play a clip of the title track. This album was a powerful return to the epic prog and power metal of the first 2 records, and fans were thrilled to hear them back in their element. But the reunion didn't last, and Astronomica would be their last studio album for over 2 decades. The story of Midnight, the band's original voice, takes a tragic turn. After leaving the band, he mostly stayed out of the public eye. The classic lineup tried to reunite in 2006, even signing a new record deal, but Midnight's ongoing personal struggles made it impossible to move forward, and the band had to let him go early 2007. Tragically, John Patrick Jr. McDonald, the man the world knew as Midnight, passed away in July 2009 from a stomach aneurysm. He was only 47 years old. The incredible voice that had helped define the genre was gone forever. The band tried to keep going, even bringing in future Queensryche vocalist Todd La Torre for a while, but the new album never came together. For more than a decade, it seemed like the book on Crimson Glory was finally closed, a story of unfulfilled potential and heartbreaking loss, their legacy resting on 2 brilliant albums from the 80s. But some stories have an unexpected final chapter. After years of silence, the impossible happened. In late 2023, Crimson Glory announced that they were back. This wasn't just a rumor, it was a full-on comeback. The new lineup features 3/5 of the classic band, guitarist Ben Jackson, bassist Jeff Lords, and drummer Dana Burnell. They're joined by new guitarist Mark Borgemeyer, and most importantly, a man to carry their vocal torch, Travis Wills. In early 2024, the band unleashed Triskaideka, their first new single in nearly 25 years. The new music has been hailed as a triumphant return, honoring their classic sound while pushing it into the modern era. This isn't a comeback that tarnishes the legacy, it builds upon it. The band made their return to the stage in October 2024 and have since announced a series of tour dates for 2025 across the US and Europe, including appearances at major festivals like Sweden Rock and Hell's Heroes. Crimson Glory's first studio album in 27 years, Chasing the Hydra, is due for release April 17th, 2026. In the meantime, there were a few singles released. The first single, Chasing the Hydra, was released about a month ago. A second single, Angel in My Nightmare, was released shortly after. The most recent single was called Beyond the Unknown, which was released about a week ago. You can expect a full review on this channel after this release. From mysterious masked figures who pioneered a new sound to the heights of a masterpiece, Through sudden fall, tragedy, and decades of silence, the story of Crimson Glory is all about resilience. They were a band that touched greatness, disappeared into the shadows, and has now returned against all odds. Their influence was felt for decades, even when they were gone, and their return is a testament to the enduring power of their music. They are a living, breathing part of metal history, and their final chapter is still being written. Let me know in the comments if you are looking forward to the new album by Crimson Glory. What's your favorite song or memory of the band? And let me know all that in the comments. And if you want more stories about metal's most legendary and forgotten bands, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. And thanks for watching. But before I go, check out this playlist of 2026 new album reviews. Should be appearing on your screen right now. And thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that. See you in the next one.